Hey everybody, welcome to the Paleo Hiker MD channel. Today we are going to continue a long overdue series, which is budget bushcraft. We've had about 7 or 8 episodes of this so far. I'll make sure and put a link down below to the playlist, but if you're interested in getting into bushcraft and you're looking to do it on a budget, make sure you check out the rest of the videos. Today we're going to take a look at ways to keep your gear in tip-top shape, budget maintenance. Thanks for watching. All right, so I'm going to divide my maintenance kit into basically 2 sections. First is going to be here in the shop, taking care of my blades here in the shop. Second is going to be out in the field. So let's start by looking at the things that I use here in the shop. A couple years ago, I was in Arkansas near the Buffalo River, and I went to a place in, I think it was Mountain Home. It was Mountain View or Mountain Home, I can't remember, but it was called the Ozark Folk Center. And they had these available for sale. Now this is Arkansas stone. It's got 3 different grits. You can see it's got coarse, medium, and fine. I don't know if that'll focus or not, but probably won't. And these have been exceptional for me. They're very straightforward. I bought this for about $25, I think, and I can easily rehone any blade on this just by going through the different coarseness of the stones. Usually I can just do a little bit of medium and then straight to the fine. If I have a blade that's really bad, I'll start with the coarse. But you can find these not just in Arkansas in person, but you can find these kinds of stones all over the internet. If you do happen to go to a state that sells stones like this, these are all, of course, native to Arkansas. If you can make yourself there or you have a friend there, you can get one of these very easily. But I would get a hold of something really simple. This is 3 different stones and makes sharpening really easy and affordable. So next we're going to take a look at this Lansky kit. This is a really simple kit. There's lots of videos on how to use this. Basically, there's different grits of stones, and it allows you, with the mechanism it has here, to set the angle that you want. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for it. I'll put the cost down at the bottom here for Amazon, which is probably the cheapest you're going to get it. I've enjoyed using it. It takes the guesswork out of setting your angle, and once you get the hang of it, it works really, really well. It's a little more expensive than just the basic stones, but it makes sharpening easier and a little bit less intimidating if you're not used to keeping your blades sharp. Next, we're going to take a look at these. This is a set of stones by Edge Pro. I bought these on eBay. I don't remember exactly how much, but I think they were in the $20 range. They were pretty inexpensive. Now, maybe I got a really good deal on them, but this has you can see they're fairly small and slender stones, but there's 120 grit, 220, 400, 600, and 1000 grit. And these are great for your smaller blades if you don't need to keep a huge blade. You know, I like having a stone like this other one that's a little bit bigger and allows more surface area to hit, but especially if you're looking for smaller blades, little pocket knives and stuff like that, this particular set for the price is really, really inexpensive. I picked it up after watching Wrangler Star talk about these. They have specific things you can get to hold them in place and everything, but those were much more expensive. So I decided, well, I'm just going to buy the stones, and they've worked out really well. Last but not least is this Lansky puck. This is what I use to keep my axes nice and sharp. Inexpensive. You can get it on Amazon for hardly anything. It's got 2 sides. Both of them are different grits. There really is nothing easier. It's relatively lightweight, so if you're going on a bushcrafting trip, you can take this with you and not really sacrifice a lot in the way of weight. It looks heavy, but it's actually not very heavy. But I've not found anything that I like more to get into the nooks and crannies and the specific angles of an axe than this Lansky stone. The last thing we're going to take a look at here in the shop kit is strops. Now I made these strops, and I'm going to make a video about how to make these because it's pretty simple. You want to talk about really, really inexpensive. This is an old belt, which is free, or if you want to go by the thrift store or whatever, you can get an old leather belt for a couple bucks, I'm sure. And then I had this piece of, I think this is oak, just a small strip of oak. You can buy a strip of oak this big at any of the big box stores for probably $6 or $8 for a length that will make as many as you want. When I made these, I wasn't sure if I would like the smooth side of the belt more or the rough side, so I basically just made one of each, and they've worked extremely well. I held them on there with contact cement, and they've held on there extremely good. Sometimes in the heat of summer, the first year I had them come off a little bit, but I fixed them. And you can see that they work extremely well. You just rub any of your rubbing compounds on there, and they put together a really nice finished edge with a DIY strop. All right, so let's change gears a little bit and our camera angle to take a look at the mobile kit. This is what I take when I'm out on a multi-day trip and I want to keep my blade sharp. Now, I don't use this kit a whole lot because honestly, I don't go out into the woods enough on multi-day trips as much as I'd like to. But these days, at my age, with kids my age, I'd rather be home with them than be out in the woods by myself. But nonetheless, I do have these things available, and often, if I know I'm going to be doing a lot of chopping or a lot of slicing and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and bring these with me. So the main thing that I use in the field to sharpen my blades is this Smith's diamond stone. It has, flip it around like that, you can hold it really good like that so you're not worried about cutting yourself. Has two different basically medium grit and fine grit. This doesn't have a coarse grit because you're really using this for fine tuning, but it works extremely well. I enjoy it. It's clearly labeled coarse and fine. And the coarse here is really not very aggressive, so it's really more of a medium grit, I would say. I really like using this. I've used it for years. I've never had any problems with it. Again, I don't remember exactly how much it costs, but everything I know that I'm talking about here costs $20 or less in general. I'll put the price for sure at the bottom, but I highly recommend the Smith's two-sided diamond stones for mobile maintenance. Now, inside of my kit itself, as far as like my fire kit or the kit that I carry with me all the time, has kind of extras. I keep this. Now, I also got this at the Ozark Folk Store, but it is just a very small, mobile, super fine Arkansas stone. I love this thing. It's always on me. It's basically always in my basic kit. There's things I always bring with me no matter what I do in the woods, and it's almost part of my emergency kit. I carry this with me. It comes with this little leather holster, which is nice, stops it from getting damaged, or more importantly, the stone from damaging other things, and it doesn't really add to the weight. These are easy to find. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them at most stores. Highly recommend a small fine grit stone like this for your kit. Now, something that kind of bridges the gap for me, and things that I take with me at times and things that I keep here, and I use it here in the shop often, but I also take it with me, so I'll include it in this, is this. This is basically what I'll call a rust eraser. I really don't like letting rust set in at all into my blades, so when I go out and it's wet or whatever it might be, rust can show up on your blade overnight, and I don't like letting it sit there for several days, and I don't want to carry some kind of lubricant. So I actually bring this with me, and when it's really, really small amount of rust, you can easily wipe it away with this rust remover. I kind of think of it as the magic eraser for knives. Again, I'll put information at the bottom as to what it is and where you can get it. Very inexpensive and works extremely well. I have restored some knives that have been pretty rusty with good results. Not perfect, of course, but good results with this little thing. The last thing that I use in my mobile kit is this. This is actually from LT Wright. I got this whenever I got my GNS Scandi grind. It is a small mobile strop. Just unwinds. You just keep your compound on there. You can attach this little bungee cord to a tree or whatever you might, and then you hold this side and you can strop your knife super easy. Inexpensive. You can buy these multiple places. I do recommend buying from LT Wright. I think they're an awesome company, American made, and this particular mobile strop I've used a lot and I really enjoy using it. So that is a look at what I use to keep my gear overall in good shape. There's no point in spending good money on gear, especially sharp, shiny things. They tend to be a little bit expensive. There's no point in getting those if you're not going to keep them in tip-top shape. It's real important that you keep your non-stainless steel or high-carbon steel oiled. You don't want it to rust. It can happen even in the best of times. I've got terrible humidity problems here in my shop and basically in Louisiana. So it's pretty hard to keep all the rust off of all your equipment, but you want to do your best. If you're going to put an investment into these things, you want to keep them as rust-free and tip-top shape as you can. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching. I'm sorry that I haven't been putting out a lot of videos lately. Have a lot going on. Have a recertification test in sleep medicine coming up in about 6 or 8 weeks. And once I'm done with that, it'll be nice and cool around here, and we're gonna get back out in the woods and do a lot more videos. For now, we're gonna do what we can here and around the shop and get out to the woods when we can, which I'll be doing soon, hopefully later this week. As always, as I said, thanks for watching Paleo Hiker MD, and look forward to more videos here on the channel. Thanks, guys.